Our topic for today is statics of rigid bodies. We'll introduce first the definition of statics of rigid bodies. So statics is the study of rigid bodies that are stationary. Stationary rigid body must be in static equilibrium or it has no unbalanced forces acting on it. Okay, so in physics, you have learned that for a certain body, we can apply forces, no? So us being aspiring civil engineer, foundational subject, no? Take up, I think, years ago, no? We're going to review it. And in this subject, we are dealing with rigid bodies that are stationary. So meaning the summation of forces along all the directions and then the summation of moments are all equal to zero. And then we have the term rigid body. So when we say rigid body, we are assuming that the body is not deforming. Okay. So meaning whatever the magnitude of the forces that we are going to apply, we will not consider any deformation and stresses. So kahit gaano kalakas ang mga force, na-assume natin na rigid yung body, the deform. Okay? So the mechanics of deformable bodies, that is on a later subject, no? That is strength of materials, yun yung start ng study nyo wherein consider nyo na yung effect of forces. But this time, we are just dealing with the forces, no? Paano ba tayo nag-total ng forces? But we are not considering its effect sa ating rigid. So, recall lang, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng force? When we say force, it is a push or a pull that one body exerts on one another. And then force is a vector quantity. So recall, we have two kinds of quantity that we will encounter in engineering mechanics. No? Meron tayong scalar at vector. Pag sinabi natin scalar, it only deals with the magnitude. Walang kinalaman sa direction scalar. But when we say vector, that is a combination of magnitude, direction. So that is how we represent a vector. Kailangan may magnitude at direction, no? Yeah. So particularly for a force, kailangan meron din tayong point of application kung saan ba ina-apply yung force, no? So it has to be complete para walang vague na information regarding forces, no? Kailangan may magnitude, meron ding direction, merong point of. Pag may nagkulang diyan, magiging vague yung pagkaka-define natin ng forces. It is possible that we might not be able to solve the problem. No? Forces are frequently represented in terms of unit vectors and force components. So this is the first part that we will review, no? So paano ba mag-represent ng forces? Ano ba yung itsura ng forces when we are considering dimensional and two-dimension? So actually, ang mas realistic is three-dimension because we are living in a three-dimensional space, no? So kaya aaralin din natin kung paano mag-represent a dimension. And then we have a unit vector. So very important na hindi nyo makalimutan ang vector. So when we say unit vector, it is a vector of unit length directed along coordinate axis. So itong coordinate axis, ever since math subject, encounter nyo na ang mga coordinate axis, no? So napaka-importante ng coordinate axis. Through the coordinate axis, we are able to understand kung ano yung pagkaka-position ng mga forces or ng mga coordinates. So when we say coordinate axis, ano ba yung tinutukoy ng coordinate axis? So when we say coordinate axis, So that is the x and y. No? Sa two dimension, meron tayong x-axis representing horizontal direction. And we have the y direction representing the vertical direction. So that is for two dimension. So pag sinabi daw na unit vector, ito daw yung vector na 1 unit ang magnitude and then it is directed on a coordinate axis. So meaning a unit vector represents a unit magnitude and the direction kung saan nakaturo yung vector. So napaka-importante ng unit vector kasi this is how we identify kung saan nakadirect yung force mo, kung saan siya nakaturo. Unit vectors are used in vector equations to indicate direction without affecting. So yung x and y, that is for 2 dimensions, and then pag 3 dimension naman, dadagdagan mo lang ng isa, and we usually represent it by letter z, no? So x, y, z. So how do we represent a vector force, no? So we represent a vector force in 2 dimensions in this form, no? Ganito tayo mag-represent ng vector force sa 2 dimension. Yung F equals F sub xi plus F sub yj. So take note, in this term, yung I and j, that is how we represent the coordinate axis, no? Okay, so yung I, it is used to represent a unit vector directed along x. Yung j naman, yung j naman is para sa y. Okay, and then yung nakikita nyo dyan, fx and fy, yan yung mga components ng force F. So meaning, yung f sub x, ito yung magnitude. Sabi natin magnitude, ito yung value. So yung magnitude ng force na nakaturo sa x-axis. And then yung fy naman is yung magnitude directed along y-axis. So that is why, when we say vector, it is a combination of magnitude and direction. So in this case, yung fx, yan yung magnitude ng force na nakadirect sa x-axis represented by the I vector. Okay? So kapag that is for 2 dimensions, so kapag 3 dimension, dadagdagan lang natin yan sa, and then we represent it by A. Okay, so when writing the vectors, so usually ang ginagawa natin, yung mga vectors, bino-bold letters natin sila, no? And then yung mga magnitude, sila naman yung mga regular font lang, yung hindi naka-bold. Pag bold, ibig sabihin, ano, vector. Okay? So let us now discuss the resultant. So take note, we can have several vectors being represented in our coordinate axis. So when we say resultant, this is how we combine the effects of the forces. That is very vital for us. Ito-total natin lahat ng forces acting rigid body. So that is yung mga preliminary topics that we have to understand, no? Paano ba natin tinototal yung mga forces? So for example, we have a force F1. Okay, so take note, pag sinabi mong force F1, that is a vector. So dapat meron siyang magnitude and direction. Okay, so ibig sabihin, itong force F1, may component siya sa lahat ng axis natin. X, Y, meron siya sa... Kaya kung makikita nyo, meron tayong 3 terms dito. So take note, sa vector, hindi natin pwedeng i-combine yung mga forces na, we cannot add algebraically yung mga forces na not acting on the same direction. So when we say adding algebraically, sabihin, yung force na nasa x-axis, pwede mong idagdag sa force na directed din along x. Okay? Pero, if we have two forces acting on two different directions, we do not simply add their magnitudes. Dapat nire-represent natin sila as a vector. Kasi nga, kada vector, meron silang components sa ating coordinate axis x, y, z. Kaya kung makikita nyo dito sa ating force F1, ayan, represented siya ng Fx1i plus Fy1j plus Fz1a. So let's say we have another force F2, ayan, and then we also have another force F. Halimbawa, yung tatlong forces na yan ay nasa coordinate nasa coordinate axis natin yan. And then let's say we want to add these three forces. Kapag nag-add tayo ng forces, so that is the resultant, no? Yung vector sum ng mga nakikita nyo forces. And take note, pag nag-add tayo ng mga vectors, hindi natin basta-basta in-add yan ng basta kinakalculate lang ng plus, no? We have to be careful because we only add the values of forces acting on the same direction. So meaning, lahat ng may I, ibig sabihin, they are the components acting along X. Kaya sila lang yung pwede nating ipag-add. So in terms of summation, pwede nating i-simplify yung fx1 plus fx2 plus fx3. So we can write it as simply as summation of fxi from I equals 1 to n. No, pwede nating, actually, up to any value of n, no, pwede tayong mag-add ng several forces. So, hindi lang hanggang 3, kaya ang nilagay ko dito. Ganon din sa y, and ganon din sa j. So, ito na ngayon yung resultant vector. So, take note, pag resultant vector, meron pa ring magnitude, tsaka direction. So, kung makikita nyo, hindi natin pinag-add yung fx sa fy, tsaka sa fz. Kasi they are forces on different directions. Kasi nga, hindi natin pwede ipag-add pag magkaiba ng direction. So, how do we determine the magnitude of a resultant kung hindi natin pwede ipag-add yung fx, fy, at ft? So, this is how we solve for the magnitude of the resultant. Kinukuha natin yung square root nung sum of squares ng kada term. So, yung summation of fx, square natin yan, plus summation of fy, square natin, plus of f, square natin yan. And then ito yung notation for the absolute value or for the magnitude. No, yung absolute value sign. We use that to represent the magnitude. So, how about resolution of a force? Kanina, resultant, pinagsasama natin yung mga force. Paano naman ang resolution? So, when we say resolution, the components of a 2 or 3-dimensional force can be found from its direction cosines. The cosines of the angles made by the force vector with the x, y, and z axis. Ano ibig sabihin yan? So, we have here a figure. A typical force, F, in a 3-dimensional space, let's say ito siya, nakaturo lang siya somewhere, no? Yan, nakadirect lang siya dyan. Pag sinabi nating resolution of a force, kunin natin yung component niya doon sa tatlong directions. So, how do we do that? We do that by knowing its direction cosines. Pag sinabing direction cosines, ito yung mga cosine ng mga angle na nakikita nyo. Ano yung mga angle na yan na nakikita nyo? Yung mga angle na nakikita nyo, yan yung smallest angle ng mga force with respect dun sa axis. Halimbawa, theta sub x nakalagay. Yan yung measurement ng angle na pinakamalapit from the x-axis papunta dun sa force. Kaya, ayan yan. Ito siya. Mula dito, sukatin mo yung angle papuntang F. Yung theta y naman, sukatin mo yung angle mula F papunta sa y-axis. And then, ganun din yung z-axis. So, how do we compute yung mga components if we know the value of the force F and the values of the angles? Ano yung relationship ng force F at ng mga angles na yan? Kaya siya tinawag na cosine kasi kukunin mo lang yung cosine, no? So, halimbawa, ang magnitude ng force F mo is F. Pag gusto mo makuha yung component niya papuntang x-axis, tina-times mo lang siya ng cosine theta x. Ganun din yung y, na-times mo lang yung F ng cosine theta y as well as yung F sub a. Okay? That is how you resolute a force. Next, moments. When we say moment, that is the name given to the tendency of a force to rotate, turn, or twist a rigid body about an actual or assumed pivot point. Okay? So, similarly with force, moment are vectors. Okay? So, vector din ang moment. So, ibig sabihin, pag nag-represent ka ng moment, meron ka ring I, J, K kasi meron siyang mga components na X, Y, and Z axis. Okay? Yeah. So, moment axis. Yeah. So, this is how we represent a moment vector, no? Ganito yung itsura niya, no? Be mindful of the difference. Pag sinabi mong force, we represent that by a vector, usually may buntot siya, tail, tapos may head, yung may arrow. Ganun lang, no? Pero pag sinabi mong moment, makakakita ka ng ganito. Yung paikot na symbol na ganito, no? Bukod dyan, merong kasamang moment axis kapag 3 dimension, no? Kasi kapag 2 dimension, we usually identify a moment such as, we usually identify a moment with saying that its direction is going clockwise, counterclockwise, ganun lang kapag 2 dimension. Pero pag 3 dimension, sinasamahan mo siya ng moment axis. Kasi hindi madaling mag-identify ng clockwise at ng counterclockwise kapag 3 dimension. Kapag 2 dimension kasi madali lang. Tumingin ka lang sa orasan, yung ikot ng orasan, yun yung clockwise. Baliktarin mo, yun yung counterclockwise. But in 3D, hindi ganun. Kaya, we represent a moment axis by this symbol, tapos may kasamang moment axis kung saan siya pumupulupot, no? Okay? So, how do we compute a moment vector? For example, meron kang force F, and we want to compute the moment of this force with respect to point O. Okay? So, ang tawag natin doon is moment about a point. Kasi nagko-compute ka ng moment ng force about a point. Kaya siya tinawag na moment about a point, no? So, that is R cross F. Okay? Ano yung cross na to? Take note hindi ko siya sinabi as times because that is a cross product. Yung nakikita nyo dito is cross product. Kaya binasa ko siya as R cross F. Hindi ko siya binasa as R times F. Iba kasi ang cross product at times. Pag sinabi mong times, minumultiply mo lang yung value without considering the effect of the directions. Sinabi mong cross product, importante na merong direction or importante na makonsider direction. Ayan. So, when we say cross product, ayan, ito siya, or in formula, kapag sinimplify natin itong cross product, ito yung equivalent niya. Medyo mahaba lang. So, dapat alam niyo yung formula ng cross product. Ayan yung formula niya. So, take note yung R, that is also a vector, no? Ayan, sabi, position vector. So, kapag may position vector R ka, meron kang position vector F, pwede mo makompute yung moment about a point. Okay? Yan. So, this is the formula and this is how we represent a moment in vector form. Parang force lang, no? Kung makikita nyo, kanina, this is how we represent a force, no? Fx, Fy. Kapag moment, ganun din. Pinalitan lang natin. Pinalitan lang natin siya ng M. So, similarly, kapag if you want to get the resolution of the moment, pwede rin yung ginamit natin kanina. M cos the x, no? Equal siya dito sa term kasi nga yan yung nakakabit sa I. Ibig sabihin yan yung component mo respect to x, respect to y, and with okay? Yeah. So before dumami yung mga formulas natin, we try to solve first. We try to solve problems. For the first problem, so the 5 forces shown act at point A. What is the magnitude of force? As you can see, this is a planar figure. So meaning we are just getting the resultant force of a two-dimensional force of two-dimensional force. Okay? So when we are getting the resultant force of two-dimensional forces, simple lang, di ba sabi natin kanina, we can only add forces having the same direction. As you can observe, iba-iba ng direction yung mga force. So before we can add this, we need to get the resolution of each force. Sinabi natin resolution, again, ano nga yan? Ino-compute natin yung component ng mga force papunta dun sa mga coordinate axis nila. In this case, since this is two-dimensional axis, ino-component lang natin. Okay? So first, let us solve for the x components and y components. So unahin muna natin yung 30 Newton force. Okay, so let us solve the components with respect to x and y axis. First, for the x component, so isa-isayin natin So ito muna ang 30 Newton force. So as you can see, the 30 Newton force is directed along the horizontal, meaning x axis. So even though the x and y axis are not indicated in the figure, so dapat i-indicate natin yon, no? Para hindi tayo malilito when we are getting the resolution. First, 30 Newton, that is directed along horizontal. Sabi natin kanina, pag nagko-compute tayo ng resolution ng force, kailangan natin yung kanyang direction cosine, no? O yung angle papunta sa axis. Tapos i-times lang natin yung magnitude ng cosine ng angle. Okay, sige. Try natin yan. Okay. So in this case, dahil si 30 ay nakaturo din sa x-axis, you will measure the angle of this force papunta sa x-axis. 0 lang. Kasi nakaturo na siya sa x-axis eh. So therefore, the x component is simply 30, the magnitude of the force, multiplied by the cosine of the angle. Kaya 30 cosine 0. So for y component, simple lang yan. 30 cosine 90. Bakit 90? Kasi 90 naman ang angle mula sa force papuntang y-axis. Diba? Ayan o, tatlong 30. Kaya 90. Okay, so that is for the 30 Newton force. Next is for the 45 Newton force. Anong angle niya papuntang x-axis? 30 degrees. Kung 30 degrees ang angle papuntang x-axis, ano naman ang angle papuntang y? Naman, 60 naman. Kaya, for y component, 45 cosine naman. Okay? So, recall na kapag y component naman ang kinocompute mo, f cosine theta y naman. Kung ano yung angle papuntang y-axis. Okay? Yan. So, uulitin lang natin yan for all the forces. For the 60 Newton, 75, and 90. But before that, take note, itong cosine 90, aside from using a cosine, pwede rin kayo gumamit ng sine, no? Kasi ang cosine ng 90, equivalent lang siya sa sine ng complementary angle niya. When we say complementary angle, that is difference of the angle from the 90 degree angle. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang complementary ng 90 ay 0 kasi 0. So, ang cosine 90, pwede nyo ring palitan ng sine 0. If you will solve, no? Pakita natin sa calculator. Ang cosine ng 90, parehas lang yan sa sine ng 0. Kaya, pwede ba siya palitan ng sine 0 kung komportable? Ganon din sa 45. Ganon din sa 45 cosine 60, no? Ayaw mo ng cosine kapag y component yung sinusolve mo, yung cosine 60, tingin kayo sa calculator, yung cosine 60, pwede rin siyang sine ng complementary. Complementary ng 60, 90 minus 60, 30 yun. You can see, ang sine ng 30 is 1/2, which is equal to the cosine of 60, 1/2. Okay, so ulitin lang natin yung for all the forces. So, for x component, that is 60 cosine 60 degrees. And y component is 60 cosine 30. Ganun din sa 75. Then lastly, 90. Okay, so after that, we get the total of all the forces along the x component. Meaning, kinukuha natin yung sum nito. If we get the total, no, so that is 53.7. So let us check. And by the way, if you are looking for a calculator that can be used, yung gumamit ng Canon, no, F780. Kaya ng calculator nyo. As much as possible, yung bibilhin nyo na is transparent, no? Kasi ang inaalaw na lang sa board exam ay yung mga transparent because of the cheating incident na naganap 4 years ago yata. Or cheating incident kasi na parang naging cellphone yung calculator na hindi transparent. Lagyan ng SIM. Okay? Lang natin yan. 53.9. Okay, so ulitin mo lang yung para sa y component. Ito lang din lahat. Here's the result. 127. Okay? Ayan. But, it's not yet the answer kasi ang tinatanong is magnitude ng resultant. Pag sinabing magnitude ng resultant force, isa lang ang sagot. Eh, dalawa to eh. Diba? So, again, pag magnitude, diba, ganito yung, sorry. When we are getting the magnitude, ang formula natin dyan is this one, no? Kapag 3 dimensions. So, kapag 2 dimension, babawasan mo lang to, tatanggal fx, fy na. Okay? So, that is, ayan, no? And that is 233.72 Newton. And therefore, the answer is letter D. Okay, next. Okay, next. So, we have a two-dimensional forces again. But this time, the forces are non-concurrent, no? So, what do we mean by concurrent? So, kanina, as you can see, all the forces have an intersection point. They are all passing through point A. So, ang tawag natin sa mga forces na nag-intersect at a certain, that is concurrent forces. Concurrent forces. So, this time, hindi naman concurrent yung mga forces, no? So, kasi wala na silang common point. So, if that is the case, madadagdagan tayo ng equations, no? Basahin muna natin yung problem para malaman natin. An angle bracket is subjected to the forces and couple should determine the equivalent force couple system at point A. Use counterclockwise from the horizontal as the positive direction for angles and okay? Ang sabi rito, equivalent force couple system. Okay, so when we say couple, that is another term for moment na galing sa mga forces, no? Pag sinabi mo kasing moment, moment na siya agad. Pero pag couple, ibig sabihin, siya yung effect ng mga forces multiplied by the distance, no? So, ibig sabihin ng equivalent force couple system, papalitan daw natin lahat ng nakikita niyong forces ng isang force couple system lang. Tapos, same yung effect nila sa system. So, ibig sabihin, after mo ma-replace yan, parang ang mangyayari, meron ka na lang isang force, tapos isang couple. Tapos, same daw yung effect nun, nung lahat nung nakikita niyong forces, tsaka moments. Okay, so how do we do that? First, syempre, kunin muna natin yung resultant ng mga forces. Kasi kung i-replace natin ng equivalent force system, dapat isa lang ang force natin. Okay? So, isolve natin yung resolution ulit ng mga forces. X components. So, since directed siya sa x-axis, so, pwede na natin siyang gawing x. Kung nalilito pa kayo, pwede kayong gumamit ng cosine ulit, no? Basta, alam nyo lang yung angle. So, di ba, ito yung positive x-axis, nakaturo sa kanan, sa right. Mula sa positive x-axis, papunta sa 200, ang angle mo ay 180 degrees. Kaya, kapag ginamit mo yung formula natin kanina na na f cosine theta x, so 200 cosine 180 degrees. Kaya magiging negative 200. Pero pag sanay ka na, pwede mong tignan na lang kung saan nakaturo si 200. So, as you can see, nakaturo siya sa horizontal. So, ibig sabihin, automatic yon sa x siya. Diba? Ngayon, since nakaturo siya sa negative x, our standard direction is, ang negative natin is always to the left. No? Standard natin. Makikita nyo na nakadirect siya sa left, ibig sabihin class, negative. Diba? So, pwedeng ikaw na yung maglagay na negative. Okay? So, ang y component naman niya is, of course, 0. Kasi nga, directed siya sa x component. So, kung sa x component siya nakaturo, wala nang matitira na value para sa y. Or, nalilito ka pa din, pwede mong gamitin yung formula natin. Cosine 90 degrees. So, makukuha mo na 0. But then again, kung syempre, kung ka na, nakailang solve ka na, hindi mo na kailangan gamitin yung cosine na form kung nakadirect lang. So, gagamitin lang natin yung kapag mga incline yung. Next, 150. So, for 150, kung makikita nyo, if you can imagine, ang direction ng force component, the direction of the force component along x towards the left. So, pwedeng ikaw na agad yung maglagay ng sign na negative kasi towards the left siya. Ngayon, dahil inclined force siya, pwede ka tuloy mag cosine theta, no? So, kung alam mo yung angle na to. The thing is, since hindi given yung angle, pero ang given is slope, pwede rin naman natin makompute yung cosine theta using this right triangle. So, take note, this is a right triangle, 3, 4. The hypotenuse of a right triangle with sides 3 and 4, 5. So, from your trigonometry, pwede kang gumamit na lang ng definition ng cosine. So, di ba pag sinabi natin cosine, that is adjacent over hypotenuse. Kaya, itong angle theta, ano ba yung side na adjacent niya? That is 3. Divide mo sa hypotenuse. Kaya, negative 150 times 3 over 5. And then, of course, for the y component, edi yung 4 naman, gagawin mo ring negative kasi directed siya sa negative y-axis. Then lastly, for 150, directed siya sa y, kaya 0 ang x niya. Then positive 150. Then we will do the same as what we did in the previous problem. We just get the total of component and denote it by r sub x. Then resultant component to x. So ito siya, no? So dahil negative 290 yung direction acting at point A. Diba? Gusto natin na palitan yung system ng forces ng isang equivalent force coupled system lang acting. For y component, the sum of the forces along y component is 30. No? So therefore, we get the resultant. So kung 30 yan, positive siya, kaya ito naman siya. So we can now solve for the resultant force ng Rx and Ry. That is, yung formula natin kanina. Square root lang ng sum of squares, mga total forces per direction. 290 quantity squared plus 30 squared. The total. That is 291. Okay? Do you have any questions? That is 290. Okay? So, ito naman siya. So, how do we express yung direction niya? So, to get the direction, so we can simply compute for the angle theta. Ito yung theta, no? So, pwede tayong gumamit ng definition ng tangent, which is the opposite over adjacent. So, Ry is the opposite and Rx is 30 over 2. 5.9. Okay, so may sagot na tayo, magnitude and direction, no? But of course, meron pang isa which is couple. But first, we need to finalize the direction. Kasi kung makikita niyo yung choices, you will look sa choices natin for this problem. Wala tayong makikitang 5.90. Kasi ito yung sagot natin, 5.9. Pero wala siya sa choice. Wala, di ba? Kasi yung mga choices, ang reference na ginamit nila is positive x-axis. Yun kasi yung start. So, ang sukat ng angle ay galing sa x. Eh, yung ginawa nating theta, galing sa negative x. Kasi nakaturo. So, para ma-solve mo itong angle na to, mula positive x, papunta sa force, yung theta, isusubtract mo from 180. Kasi di ba ang isang buong sukat nito, mula positive x hanggang negative x ay 180. Diba? Mula dito, tingin maigi sa red laser. Mula dito, hanggang dito, 180. Eh, ang nasa choices, mula dyan hanggang dito. So, paano natin masasolve yun? E di 180 minus mo ng theta para ito na. Yan yung 174. Okay? So, lastly, yung couple. Pag sinabi natin couple, we just have to sum moments. Ang sabi is, i-replace mo daw ng equivalent force couple system acting at A. Ibig sabihin, ma-moment lang natin lahat ng nakikita nyong forces papuntang A. Okay? So, for 2 dimension, pag sinabi mong moment, minumultiply lang natin yung force by a perpendicular distance papunta dun sa point kung saan ka nagmo-moment. Okay? So, you will have a sign convention here. Actually, you can have any. Pero, since merong sinuggest sa problem, we have to follow the suggestion of the problem. Sabi, use counterclockwise from the horizontal as the positive direction for angles and movements. Hindi mo pwede kontrahin yan. Susunod natin yan. Okay? So, si 200 muna. Okay? So, paano mag-determine ng direction? Sabi natin, tingin ka sa orasan. Ang ikot ng orasan ay pag ganito. Yan ay clockwise. So, kung 200, minomoment mo sa A, tignan mo yung ikot na nagagawa ni 200 counterclockwise, di ba? Kaya positive. Positive. To solve for the moment, ano ba ang perpendicular distance ni 200 papunta? That is 13 cm. We just have to convert this to meter para Newton. 200 times 0.13. Next is ito. 154/5. Okay? Sige. So, focus kayo dito sa 150 Newton force. Tignan nyo, class. Yung horizontal component ni 150, dito dumadaan kay A. So, ibig sabihin, walang moment yung horizontal component ni 150. Kasi dumadaan siya sa point A eh. Diba? So, dahil dumadaan siya sa point A, wala siyang moment sa A. Walang distance. Kaya wala tayong makikita dito na 153/5. Pero yung vertical component, meron, no? Tignan niyo yung nagagawang moment ng vertical component. That is clockwise direction, di ba? Imagine you have here a force. Gawin natin. Downward force dyan. Nakikreate na moment niya. Clockwise, di ba? Kaya ginawa natin na. Then lastly, we have the 150 Newton force. Kaya 150 times 0.3 counterclockwise ulit kasi nagawang 150. Then yung 50, si 50, moment na siya agad, no? Kasi nakapaikot na siya agad. So wala kang kailangang i-multiply na distance kasi moment na agad. Ang direction niya ay counterclockwise, therefore positive. Therefore, the total moment is E. Therefore, yan natin sa choices, ang mga sagot natin, 292, yung angle natin, and that is letter E. Next. Next is the equilibrium requirements. Kanina is we study kung paano nagtototal ng mga. So how about equilibrium requirements? So when we say equilibrium requirements, we are considering that the object is ito na yung base, ito na talaga yung core ng statics of bodies. When we are dealing with rigid bodies, equilibrium or stationary. Okay? So para maging stationary ang isang rigid body, ano sabi dito? All of the forces on the object must be equilibrium. So they can only be in equilibrium if the resultant force and moment vector are zero. Kailangan, summation moment mo sa lahat ng direksyon ng force ay zero. And then, okay, sige. So let's start. For two-dimensional plane, we only have three equations of equilibrium kapag two-dimension. Of course, dapat ang summation forces x 0. Summation forces along y is 0 and dapat yung moment din, no? Yung summation of moment about z should be equal to 0. Pag 3-dimension naman, summation forces along x o along y should o along z equal to 0. Summation of moment with respect to x, 0, y equal 0, and summation of moment. Okay, so we will use those equations. So let us now try to solve. Block D sits freely on the homogeneous bar and experiences a gravitation. Homogeneous bar AB experiences a gravitational force of what is the force between the bar and the. So of course, kailangan marunong kayong mag-identify ng rigid body. Ito yung block natin. Ayan, block at D. Yan, block at D. Tapos ito naman yung rigid. Okay? So how do we solve this one? No? So kailangan natin yung free body diagram. Pag sinabi mong, when you say free body diagram, that is an illustration of all your forces acting on your rigid bodies. So let us draw the free body diagram of the bar. Bar muna. Okay? So kapag nagda-drawing kayo ng free body diagram, i-drawing nyo muna yung rigid body. Tapos, tignan mo lahat ng nakadikit dun sa rigid body na yon. Na natin. Meron tayong force T dito. Saan kaya to galing? Balikan natin. Yun. Meron kang cable. Take note, kapag cable, lagi mo siyang ida-direct away from the joint. Pag sinabing away, kung ito yung cable, nakaturo siya papalayo. Hindi papuntang B. Dapat away from the B. Kapag cable. Kasi, ayan o, may pulley. Cable tayo. Okay? Yun yung T. How about 25? Yung 25 na nakikita nyo dyan, yan ay yung homogeneous bar A experiences a gravitational bond. Okay? So how about si 50 Newton? Bakit hindi natin siya nakita dito? Kasi si 50 Newton ay yung weight ng object. Okay? Pero not necessarily na siya yung force na nakadikit dun sa bar. Bakit? Kasi yung weight na 50 Newton, meron pang nakakabit na cable. So, you are not sure na 50 yung nade-develop na force dito sa bar AB. Kaya, instead of assuming those things, maglalagay na lang tayo ng variable force or what we commonly know as normal force when we have two forces in contact. Kaya ginawa natin siyang N. Lastly, meron kang pin support at A. So, you have to review your different kinds of supports. No? Kapag hinge or pin, we have two components of action. Kaya may AX and AY tayo. So, meron tayong three unknowns, AX, AY, and tsaka T. So, kung mali man yung assumption natin ng mga direction, makikita natin yan sa sagot kapag nagiging negative yung nakukuha nating value. Okay? Kapag positive naman yung mga mako-compute mo, it means all the directions that you have indicated are correct. Okay? Sabi natin, ang equations natin of equilibrium kapag two dimension ay summation of summation of forces along X, along Y, and summation of moment. So, kahit alin sa tatlo ay pwede mong unahin. Hindi naman siya kailangan na mauuna lagi si X, tapos si Y, tapos summation of moment. Hindi ganon. Kahit alin dun sa tatlo. In this case, para makakuha tayo agad ng useful equation, we will sum moments about a point na maraming magka-cancel. In this case, sa A, ang daming unknowns na dumadaan kay. Kaya para maraming mag-cancel, mag-moment tayo sa A. So, summation of moment about A, so imo-moment natin yung mga forces na nakikita mo ng A. That is T times, gano'ng kalayo si T papunta kay A? 6. And gano'ng kalayo kay A? 0.2. 25, gano'ng kalayo kay A? Bakit positive si T? Kasi counterclockwise. Bakit negative si N? Kasi clockwise. Okay. Bakit negative si 5? Kasi clockwise. So now we have an equation in terms of N. Nakikita nyo, meron tayong equation N. So, two unknowns yan. So, para ma-solve natin yan, kailangan natin ng isang equation. Gagaling yon sa free body diagram ng block D. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na kaya hindi 50 yung nakaturo dito kasi may surface contact sila or may surface in contact sila. So, kapag inanalyze mo yung block D, ano yung mga nakadikit kay block D? Yung cable, tapos yung force. So, this is the second time na gagamitin natin si N. Take note, kapag gagamit ka ng same force in a different free body diagram, you have to get its opposite side. No? Kasi kung downward siya dito, upward naman na siya dito. Kasi si block D na yung tinitingnan. So, in this case, if we sum forces along the vertical, para dito sa free body diagram na T minus 50 kasi downward si 50 plus N equal. So, you now have two equations, two unknowns. So, pwede mo nang ma-solve si T. And, so, in this case, ang ginawa natin, nirepresent ko si N in terms of T. So, nilipat ko si 50 tsaka si T sa right side ng equation. Tapos, yung 50 minus T, sinubstitute. Then, meron ka ng single equation with single variable unknown. And that is 21.75 newtons And as you can see, n is equal to, sorry, if t is 21.875, pwede kang bumalik dito sa equation na to. Diba? Kung may t ka na, pwede mo na makompute n, that is minus 21.875 para makuha 28.1. Therefore, yan na yung answer. Okay? Number 5, what is the reaction at point A for the simply supported beam? So again, we have an equilibrium problem, no? Kasi ang tinatanong ay reaction. So since this is still a two-dimensional problem, so ganun pa rin yung equations na gagamitin natin, no? So first, we need to draw the free body diagram para wala tayong makalimutan na forces. So as you can see, meron tayong triangular load na loading kanina. So para ma-simplify natin yung calculation, we will convert that triangular load into an equivalent concentrated load, no? So take note, every time you have a distributed load, such as this one, to get the equivalent concentrated load, we just need to get the area of this triangle. So, ang area ng triangle is simply 1/2 base times height. So, in this case, that is 0.5 W times L. Ito yung 1/2 base times height. And it is acting at the centroid of the triangular distribution. So, ang centroid ng triangular distribution is at a distance 1/3 of the length L. Kaya dito siya nag-a-act yung ating 0.5 W times. Okay? So, now that we have simplified the forces, so take note, point A is a hinge. Tignan natin yung figure. That is a hinge. So, we have two components of reaction. Meron kang horizontal, meron kang vertical. But since we do not have a horizontal forces acting on the beam, so kahit hindi na natin i-indicate yung horizontal component of the action. Kaya, if we sum moment at B, moment tayo sa B, so we have RA times 2L minus WL over 6 times L sorry ulit. RA times natin ng 2L, yan yung distance niya papunta kay B. So, bakit siya, this time ang ginawa natin is positive clockwise. So, take note ang pag-indicate mo ng direction ng moment, it is always depending on your choice, no? Pwede mo siya ibahin on a certain problem kung mas magiging madali, no? Or pwede kayong maging standard or i-fix niyo yung sarili niyo na counterclockwise, positive, clockwise. No? Pero hindi siya bawal ibahin. Like in this case, para lang to prove to you na pwede mo siyang iba-ibahin, ang ginawa naman natin dito is positive clockwise. Kaya kung makikita nyo, RA times 2L minus W L over 6 times L. So, mula dito hanggang dito is L kasi A to B is 2L. So, ang kalahati niya is L. Kaya, ayan. Minus WL over 2. So, sabi natin, ito yung equivalent force ng ating triangular distribution. And it is acting dun sa centroid which is 1/3 from A. Kaya, ang distance nito papunta kay B is 2L minus L over 3. No? Or 2/3 nung L. Kasi di ba kung nakikita nyo, L to. Ito, L over 3. If this is L over 3, this is 2/3 of L. Di ba? L minus L over 3 is 2/3 of L. So, 2/3 of L plus L, yun yung distance nito papunta kay B. So, WL over 2 times L plus 2 times L. So, simplifying this one, we have 0.5 WL. Ay, sorry. 0.5 WL. Baka lang nalito kayo, no? So, hindi ko kasi nalagay ito kanina, yung mga choices sa slide na to. Kaya, ilipat ko lang. So, ito yung sagot natin, 0.5 WL. Ito yung choices dun sa problem 4. And that is letter. So, our goal is to simplify the figure. So, as you can see, we have a similar problem. We have a two-dimensional problem na may forces. Tapos, pinapakompute naman yung reactions. Okay? So, to simplify the free body diagram, we will resolve this rectangular distributed load into a concentrated load, no? So, madali kasi i-moment pag mga concentrated load na. So, ganun yung gagawin natin sa 10,000. Okay? So, the rectangular load is equivalent to a concentrated load of W times L, no? So, kanina sa triangle, 0.5 W times L kasi 1/2 base height. Pag rectangle naman, di ba ang area ng rectangle is base is 1 meter times height. Kaya, 10,000 times 1 meter, that is 10,000 Newton. Kaya yung nakikita nyo dito, 10,000 na. And then, saan siya nag-a-act? So, it acts at the centroid of the rectangular distribution, no? Take note that the centroid of a rectangle is at the middle or at the midpoint of the rectangle. Kaya, makikita nyo, diba 1 meter yan? So, ang centroid niya is nandito sa gitna. Kaya yung 10,000 Newton, nilagay natin at a distance of 0.5 from point A, no? Kaya ayan siya, 10,000 from, 10,000 Newton at a distance of 0.5 meter. Then, indicate natin yung mga reaction sa A. So, since it is a pin support, dalawa ang component reaction dyan. Sa C naman, that is roller. So, isa lang reaction natin. So, since we want to compute yung reaction sa C, so pwede mag-moment ka na kay Y. Kasi pag nag-moment ka kay Y, magka-cancel si AY, magka-cancel din si AX. Therefore, mako-compute natin si Y. Okay? So, in this case, ang ginawa kong assumption is clockwise positive, but you can have your own, of course. 10,000 times 1 meter. Ito yung kanina na ginawa natin na W times L. Ang moment arm niya papunta kay A is 5, kaya may point yan. Next, plus 1.5 Newton. Sige. Yung isang 1.5 Newton muna. Pag minoment natin si 1.5 Newton papunta kay A, ang distance mula dyan hanggang dito is 0.4. Ayan. Baka nakalimutan lang. 0.4 ang distance mula dito sa application, sa point of application ni 1.5 papunta kay A, 0.4. Kaya 1.5 times 0.4 yan. Tinimes natin ng 2 kasi dalawa sila. Pareha sila nagkikreate ng clockwise couple. Ng clockwise moment. Kaya tinimes 2 natin. Next, minus 2,000. Counterclockwise ang nakikreate ni 2,000. Kaya ginawa natin siya negative. Ang moment arm niya is ito, yung total length. So, 0.5 plus 1.1 plus 0.8, 0.6, that's 3. Then lastly, minus 2.4 Ty. 2.4 naman is yung 0.5 plus 1.8 plus 0.8. So, we can now solve for y. We can use our calculators, no? Lipat natin lahat ng constant or lipat na lang natin to sa right side para nakasolo na si cy. So, solve natin yung value ng constant, 10,000 times 0.5 plus 2 times 1, 5 times 0.4 minus 3 times 2,000 divided by 2. Okay? And that is CY 83. Okay? So, nag-positive, ibig sabihin tama yung assumed direction natin. And that is 83 Newton upward. And that is letter. Okay? Next. So, the problem is determine the resultant R of the system of forces shown. So, as you can see, we have three-dimensional forces, no? X, Y, and Z. Mukha lang mahirap. Pero, kung babalikan natin yung pag-compute natin ng resultant, di ba? Halimbawa, ito yon, meron kang F1 na may mga components sa X, Y, and Z. Ganon din yung F2 at F3. Para ma-compute natin ang resultant, di ba? We just get the summation ng lahat ng component ng X, summation ng component ng Y, tapos summation ng component ng Z. So, gagawin lang natin yan. So, as you can see, for F1, how do we identify yung mga X component? Diba? Sabi natin kanina, yung I na vector, that is how we denote the direction along X. Diba? That is the unit vector directed along. So, lahat ng may I, ipag-add natin. Makikita nyo, add lang natin lahat ng I. So, 15 plus 20 minus, that is 25. No? So, 25 yung I. So, kung titignan nyo yung choices, isa lang yung may 25 na I. Kaya, kahit yung X pa lang yung ina-add nyo, pwede na kayong pumili ng sagot. But, we have to complete it, no? Kasi baka, there are times na para-paras ang X choices. So, baka malito tayo. But in this particular problem, alam mo na agad na A ang sagot natin. Kasi I pa lang, 25 na, and siya lang ang may 25 na I. But let's solve it completely. So, i-add lang naman natin lahat ng I. I-add lang natin lahat ng J. And i-add lang natin lahat ng A. Ganun lang kasimple. And then, we will rewrite it as a vector. Yes? Ito yung 25I kanina, tapos ito 60J, tapos ito. So, therefore, the answer is letter. Okay, next. So, we have a definition problem. Which type of load is not resisted by a pinned joint? So, take note, pag sinabi natin pinned joint, dalawa lang ang components ng reaction. Vertical and horizontal. And take note from your mechanics of deformable bodies, the horizontal and vertical force can be axial, compression, or shear. Diba? So, ang hindi lang kayang i-resist ng pin joint ay moment. That is letter A. Okay, next, for number 8, three forces act on a hook. Determine the magnitude of the resultant of the forces. Neglect hook bending. Ayan. So, class, parang ito lang yung kanina. Parang ito lang siya. No? Parang ito lang din siya. Pero, naka 2 dimension. So, actually, ito rin yung first problem na sinolve natin, no? Ipaalala ko lang, no? Yung first problem na sinolve natin, ito, di ba? Tinotal lang natin yung forces. So, parang ganito lang din. Mas madali lang kasi tatlo lang yung forces. So, how do we solve this one? Iko-components lang din natin. But this time, bibilisan na natin, hindi na katulad kanina na detalyado, naka-component, y-component, kasi alam na natin siya. So, ang tinatanong lang dito is magnitude of the resultant. So, meaning we just have to get the sum of the components along X as well as the sum of the components along y, tapos kunin natin yung resultant. Okay? Yeah. So, summation of forces along x muna. Ayan. 1,000 cosine 30 minus 750 cosine 15 minus 1,500 cosine. Kung nalilito pa din, isa-isahin natin. Bakit siya 1,000 cosine 30? Balikan natin yung figure. Yung 1,000, ano yung angle niya papunta kay x? 30 degrees. Kaya 1,000 cosine 30. Next, 750. Bakit siya may negative? Kung titignan nyo, pakaliwa, si 750, di ba pag left, negative x-axis yan. Kaya nilagay na natin agad yung negative sign. Para sa angle, kung ano na lang yung angle from the fourth papuntang x-axis. Regardless kung positive or negative. Hindi mo na iisipin yun. So, 15 degrees na to, yung pagiging negative niya, nilagay na natin. Lastly, yung 1,500, pakaliwa din. So, cosine 20. Yan, tayo na rin ang naglagay ng negative sign. And therefore, we get the total that is negative 1,267 Newton. Okay? Next is summation of forces along y. Yan din yun, no? So, kung 30 yan, kung cosine 30 to, ang y mo naman is cosine 60. But this time, pinakita ko yung equivalent ng cosine 60. Di ba? Earlier, I have explained na yung cosine ng angle equal siya sa sine ng complementary. Di ba? Ang cosine ng ang cosine ng 60 ay equal lang sa sine 30. Di ba? Kasi ang complementary ng 60. So, I hope nagigets niyo yun. Kaya, yung cosine, pinalitan lang natin yan ng mga sine. Okay? So, how about the signs? Bakit naging positive, negative? Sige, tignan natin. 1,000 sine 30, bakit positive? Kasi pataas. So, along positive y siya. Bakit negative 70 sine 15? Kasi pababa. Tayo na ang naglagay ng negative. And then, positive 1,500 sine 20 kasi pataas si 1,500. Kaya positive 1,500. We get the total of summation forces along Fy. That is 880. So therefore, meron ka ng summation of forces along x, summation along y. To get the resultant, we use our formula for the resultant. And therefore, that is 1509. Okay? And that is letter D. No? Letter D siya. Okay, next. Problem 9. So again, we have a two-dimensional equilibrium problem. Ay, hindi siya equilibrium problem. Sorry. May condition na nilagay. No? So the loading shown requires a resisting moment of 20 Newton meter at the support. Calculate the value of force F. Somehow, equilibrium siya, pero we are not asked to solve for the reactions. No? Ang pinapasolve sa atin ay yung F. Kung ang resisting moment daw na sa support ay 20, ano daw dapat yung value ng F? Ibig sabihin lang yan, pag nag-sum tayo ng moment dito, sa point na to, let's say we call this point A, dapat 0, no? Kasi equilibrium eh. Ayan, no? Pag sinabi kasing resisting moment, yun daw yung naging reaction na moment dito sa support para maging equilibrium. So therefore, sum lang tayo ng moment sa point na to. So tinawag natin siyang point A. Wait lang. So summation moments tayo about A. So So take note, we have to be careful dito sa direction ng moment, no? So, tignan nyo muna yung mga forces. Di ba downward sila? Imagine, ano yung nagiging direction ng moment nila papunta dito? Si 75, pag ganun. Si F, pag ganun. Si 15, ganun din. Yung direction na yan ay counterclockwise, no? So, pag sinabing resisting moment, reaction siya. Ibig sabihin, sumasalungat siya. So, kung counterclockwise ang moment na nakikreate nitong mga forces na to, therefore, clockwise reaction ang 20 natin. So, kung i-assume natin na positive clockwise, so ang magiging equation natin ay 20 minus 75 times 0.5 minus F times 1.5 papunta kay A minus 15 times 1.5. Therefore, you can now solve for. But, as you can see, negative ang lumabas na sagot ni F. It does not mean na mali yung sagot natin. It just means that the direction indicated in our free body diagram is wrong or the opposite. So, kung downward si F, pero nakakuha tayo ng negative na sagot, it just means that the correct direction for F should be upward. No? Therefore, ang isasagot natin dito, 26.7 Newton upward. Problem 10. A bent beam is acted upon by a moment and several concentrated forces. Find the missing force F and distance x that will maintain equilibrium on the member shown. Okay? Yeah, sige. So, to satisfy the equilibrium, so this is 2 dimensions. So, magsa-summation forces tayo along vertical. Actually, pwede rin sa along x. Kaso, if you will notice, wala naman ng horizontal forces. Kaya, you don't need to conduct yung summation forces along x. So, summation forces along y lang and then summation of. Sige? Let's start with summation of forces along the vertical. So, ano-ano yung mga force along the vertical? So, pag forces, so ang standard assumption natin dyan, positive upward, negative downward. So, we start with negative 60. Plus 10 plus 20 plus 10 plus F equals 0. So therefore, F is equal to 20 newtons. Next, summation of moment about A. So nakailang beses na tayo mag-moment. So dapat nagigets na natin to. Summation moments about A. So we have 20. Ito, yung 20 na to. Si 10, hindi na natin sinama kasi wala siyang moment sa A dahil dumadaan siya kay point A. Ganon din si 60. Dumadaan siya kay point A. Kapag ang force kasi dumadaan sa point, wala siyang distance papunta sa point na yon kasi dinadaanan niya yun eh. So kung wala siyang distance papunta sa point na yon, zero ang moment kasi 'di ba ang moment ay force times distance. Sige. So in this case, positive counterclockwise. Positive clockwise ulit to, no? So si 20 moment na to yung unang 20 moment na yan, naka-clockwise kaya 20. Wala na siyang moment arm kasi moment na siya. Minus 20 times 0.2. Ito naman counterclockwise. 20 times 0.2. Ayan, counterclockwise. Then, si 10. Ang distance ni 10 papunta kay A is 0.2 plus x. Minus 20 times 0.4 plus x. So, saan galing to si 20? Diba siya si F? Since na-compute na natin si F kanina, so pwede na natin palitan to ng 20. Kaya yung last term natin ay 20, tapos ang moment arm is 0.2 plus x plus 0.2, kaya 0.4 plus x. In this case, masasolve na natin si x, that is x, and that is equal to 0.2 meters. And therefore, the answers are 20 Newton and 0.2 meters. That is letter. Okay?